So we are going to discuss something called vocabs, or popularly they are called vocabulary. Let me tell you, my friends, vocabs is very important as far as your communication is concerned. Time and again, I want to tell you that vocabs is something called the raw building blocks of your communication skill. If you want to, do well or you can better, communication skill, you have to improve your vocabs. So today I am going to focus some very interesting vocabs, really confusing, but let me give you. And these are the things you can frequently find in newspaper, in your day-to-day conversation, and those who are techie guys, or a layman, doesn't matter. Obviously, this kind of conversation, vocabs is going to play a very crucial role in your career. So let me start something called let's improve your vocabulary. So let's improve your vocabs. So whenever I say vocab, it is something called, okay, it is something called improve your vocabs. Vocabs is very, very important. If you cannot improve your vocabs or vocabulary, it is going to be very difficult, path for you to, have a conversation with anybody. Okay. So today, the first pair I have taken something called dropout versus dropout of something. Right? So just check it out. What I have written it here, dropout. There is no space, but here check it out, drop out. There is a space, single space will be there. Whether you are writing in computer, right now, one space, just one, right? So this is something called dropout and drop out of something. That's quite interesting. So right now, let me tell you, my friends, drop out and drop out. What do you mean by that? Right? This particular dropout, I want to tell this particular is a very widely used word. Everywhere you find. Okay, it's a very popular word. So let me give you some examples. Like you are, very much passionate about Facebook because Facebook is perhaps the most popular. You can say. It's just like a social media platform, right? Most popular social media platform is called Facebook, and it has a founder, and the name of the founder is Mark Zuckerberg. And do you know that he is a college dropout? You guys are using something called your Microsoft Windows. Windows has its founder also, right? Creator, founder, you can call it. So Bill Gates also is a college dropout. We all are belongs to Odisha. There is a guy called Ritesh Agrawal. Ritesh Agrawal, Oyo, that you might have heard. Hotel booking site is called Oyo, and he's also a college dropout. So what do you mean by dropout? Let's propose something called dropout. And let me tell you, make no mistake whenever you are trying to, don't put any comma or like that. Just put it dropout. Look, there should be no space at all. It is something called dropout. You can say, suppose Ritesh Agrawal. Is a college dropout. So my dear friends, just take it out. So whenever you say that I got sound, please request everybody. It's in mute mode. You guys are sitting at home, and most of the time some private conversation will come out. It's not good. It's recording mode for your good only. I'm going to tell all. Okay. So Ritesh Agrawal is a college dropout. So what do you mean by dropout? Yes, right. So dropout is something called, basically it is used in education. Remember, it's always used in, the first clue is that it is always in education sector. Just like example, school, college, university, etc. You can say he's a college dropout. My friend is a high school dropout. I have many friends who have dropped out of the college. So what do you mean by dropout? Here, dropout means, like, there is a stipulated syllabus for us. Whenever you say school time, it is up to 10th standard. You know very well. Those who are, suppose you am in school, that means you are right now, you have not gone to college, means you'll be in 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard, like that, right? If in college, it can goes up to, sometimes +3 level, you can graduation level, and sometimes called, if you are going for above, that is some called university level. So whenever you say I'm a dropout of college, that means you are not able to, complete the education up to that level. Suppose you can say I'm a +2 dropout. That means +2 is for 2 years. Everybody knows. You are supposed to complete the 2 years course. If you are not able to complete the two years course due to certain problems, what are the problems? Maybe some support issue. You don't like it. Maybe the reasons can be many. But let me tell you, whenever you are really not completing the education, what you are supposed to do, that is intended to do that as per the curriculum, then you can say I'm a dropout. If you say, look, engineering is a 4 years course, right? Engineering is a 4 years course. Those who are engineers, they can easily understand it. Suppose you are supposed to complete the 4 years to be an engineer. Suppose in the third year itself you drop out. That means you can say I'm an engineering dropout. What do you mean by that? I could not, or I don't want, I did not, or I could not. Anything is possible. I could not complete, or I did not complete the 4 years mandatory periods, because we have a syllabus, we have a, you have a procedure also for that, right? Suppose you say, that just give me the matriculation certificate before 10, not possible. You have to complete, 10th standard examinations before getting that certificate. So if you are dropping it out, that means you are not going to complete the education. So whenever you are not going to complete the education that you are supposed to, that is something called dropout. So what do you mean dropout? Let me put it once more. Dropout means here, it means, okay, you have, or you have discontinued. You can say discontinued or not continued. You have discontinued your education. You have discontinued your education. Okay. Suppose you say I'm a college dropout, means I did not complete my college education. If I say I'm a school dropout, that means I did not complete my school education. I'm a university dropout, means I did not complete the intended things. Suppose I'm doing a research job. I'm a research dropout. Suppose the research is for 2 years. I'm supposed to complete 2 years, but whenever I did not complete that 2 years, I can say I'm a dropout. Remember, here dropout is used as a noun. That's very important. Look, I'm a college dropout. I'm a education. I'm a university dropout. I am something. But is, a lot of my friends are there. Those who are schools dropout. That means they have not completed their mandatory school education. So whenever you are not, let me tell you, Ritesh Otwal is a college dropout. That means he did not complete his college education. Maybe he is just into plus 3 first year, but he dropped year out. What do you mean by that? That means he did not complete the education for that college level. So dropout is something called It is used in the education sector, basically school, college, university, and you can say means I drop out of something, right? But remember, whenever I say drop out of something, the something can be anything. It can be, the same meaning here, but here drop out is used as a noun. But look at it, it can be used as a phrasal verb. Drop out of something. It's a phrasal verb, or you can say verb. This is the noun, and this is something called the phrasal verb. Phrasal verb. So what do you mean by the phrasal verb? Whenever I say, whenever I say, my friend has dropped out of college or dropped out of, school education, like that, that means he has done that, right? Suppose, I was supposed to take part in debate competition tomorrow. I can say that I dropped out of that debate competition. That means I did not want to continue. That is something called. Suppose, there is an election and I am a candidate. I don't want to contest the election. I can say I have dropped out of election. So remember, drop out of something. Something can be anything you are supposed to participate, but you did not. Suppose, like Ashish has given, okay, tomorrow we have a plan to go to Puri, but he dropped it out. That means he did not continue with his intended planning. So here, something, not only education, it can be anything. It can be any planned picnic. It can be planned vacation. Suppose you have discussed some things with the family members. Let's go on 15th of this month for a vacation to New Delhi. You're planning. Upon New Delhi jiba ପାଇଁ planning କରୁଛନ୍ତି. At the same time, ଆପଣ ଦେଖିଲେ due to different regions, maybe କିଛି ବି ହେଇପାରେ, ତ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆପଣ ଡ୍ରପ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ କରିଦେବେ। ଡ୍ରପ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ କରିଦେବା ମାନେ ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ଲାନିଂଟା ଥିଲା ସେଟା ଆପଣ ଡ୍ରପ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ କରିଦେବେ ମାନେ ଆପଣ you don't want to continue. Remember, so whenever I say drop out of something, something can be education, something can be anything that you are, suppose ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ you are taking education with me, you are taking spoken English class, you are taking spoken English class, so it is a mandatory 3 months. Suppose upon 2 months you do not continue. What you can say? I have dropped out of spoken English class. You can say. Suppose you are going for a vacation. I have dropped out of the plan of going for a vacation. I have dropped out of college. I have dropped out of school. I have dropped out of going for the picnic. Like anything. I told you, something can be anything. But whenever this drop out, it is basically related to education. That's the difference. Whenever I say he's a dropout, that means ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ word dropout ଶୁଣିବେ, like Bill Gates is a dropout, school dropout. ତାମାନେ ସିଏ ସ୍କୁଲ ପଢିନା ଆଉ ସ୍କୁଲ ଏଜୁକେସନ ଟା କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କଲେ ନାହିଁ. If you say I'm an engineering dropout, ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ engineering ଆଉ ମାନେ କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କଲି ନାହିଁ. I'm a college dropout, ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ college କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ କଲି ନାହିଁ. Remember, that's very important. Dropout means it is related to education only. But here drop out of something means something can be anything. It can be education, anything that you are doing right now, but you stop it. Suppose go to election house, मंत्री किबा गोटे एमएलए इलेक्शन काली हबो ओडिसा रे, तो एमएलए इलेक्शन रे परंतु राजेश सर ताको कन्स्टिट्यूएंसी रे छिडा आइछन आज एमएलए कैंडिडेट, किंतु ताको ठीक लागिलानी से कहले नै मु आ छिडा हेबे, तमाने ऑलरेडी से डिसीजन नेइथिले छिडा हवा पई, बट से पुनी ताको मना कर दे, then you can say I have dropped out of contesting the election. You can say I have out of contesting the election. Okay, you can say I have dropped out of college. My friend has drop out of school, like that. So here it can be election, it can be school, it can be college, it can be picnic, it can be anything. That means you have planned something, but due to some problems, you stopped it. So that is called drop out of something. But whenever it's a dropout, it's only related to education sector. You cannot use it. ଆପଣ କହିବେ କି ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ପିକନିକ ଯାଉଥିଲି ମୁଁ ସେଠି ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଡ୍ରପ ଆଉଟ୍ କରିଦେଲି ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ କହିବି କି ଆମେ ପିକନିକ ଡ୍ରପ ଆଉଟ୍ नो drop out is only used for education. Look at that. There is no space. Drop out. How you have to read it like this? It is something called drop out. That's all. Drop out. But here you can say drop out of something. So that's the difference. That's pretty important. Sometimes you can think, yes, drop out of college. I was planning to contest the election, but I dropped it out. That means I did not go forward the way as per the planning. ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ଲାନିଂ ଥିଲା ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଯେ ଗଲିନି so that you can say drop out. ଆପଣ ଭାବୁଥିବେ ଯେ ଲାଇକ नो ସପୋଜ ଆପଣ ଭାବୁଥିଲେ ବି ଆପଣ ବିଇଡି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର +3 କଣ୍ଟିନ୍ୟୁ ସରିଗଲା ବା ହେଇଗଲା ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଆପଣ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି ବିଇଡି କରିବା ପାଇଁ ବଟ୍ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଚିନ୍ତା କରିଦେଲେ ତ ମୁଁ ପଚାରିବି ସାର୍ ୟୁ ହାଭ୍ ପ୍ଲାନ୍ ଟୁ ଡୁ ଲାଇକ ବିଇଡି नो I dropped it out. What do you mean by that? Means ମୋ ପ୍ଲାନ୍ ଥିଲା ସେ ପ୍ଲାନ୍ ର ମୁଁ ଓହରି ଗଲି तो drop out of something माने कौन सी कार्यरू ओहरी जिबा that's very important. अपन को नांती से कामर मु ओहरी गली suppose अपन गोटे planning करछन suppose you are planning to hit somebody. Let me give a very I mean well thought process. तो अपन मानकर गोटे पिला को पिटिया पई रेडी हेछन बट अपन सब चिंता करले नाइ मु पिटले पुनी मोनार के सब एमते भाबे कि तापर अपन कोन कले ना सेथरो ओहरी आसी you can say drop out. I dropped it out. I dropped out of the plan. I dropped out of something. Something means that can be plan, that can be education, that can be your planned journey, that can be marriage. तुरंत आपण भाबुछंती आपण के एज हे गलानी तो आपण कहउछन जे फाइन दिस मंथ मो मैरिज कर किंतु आपण कहल नाही नाही एबे मैरिज करले मते प्रॉब्लम होबो मोर आउट की कंटिन्यू करिवार अछि तो यू कैन से आई ड्रॉप्ड इट आउट. So drop it out something. It can be marriage, it can be social function, it can be anything and everything. Let me tell you. But whenever it comes to drop out, that's only related to school, college, or university, or any education sector. Like suppose if you are, that is formal education. Remember, formal education. You cannot say I may drop out of spoken English class. No, this is formal education where you are supposed to get that is mandatory period. That it is something called private, but there are certain things called government. Like suppose upon the 10th person complete coaching, I'm a matriculate. If I am completing up to your graduation level, you say I am a graduate. So if I am completing your PG, you say I am a postgraduate, right? So upon एमती कोंती यदि सेही थुरा अपन ओभरी गले then you can say I am जो थु अपन ड्रॉप करथिबे suppose school level रो अपन 9th বা 10th अपन एग्जाम देले अपन देखंतु गोटे पिलाटे मैट्रिक एग्जाम दउ से रहि जाउची that is called he is a school dropout, high school dropout. गोटे पिला 7th रो रहि जाउची he is a school dropout. suppose गोटे पिला +2 रे रहि जाउची he is a college dropout. +3 रे रहि जाउची +3 dropout. University पढुची उत्कल university but any other university पढुचंती but due to some problems is dropping out, then you can say he is a university dropout. So dropout is only used the first one, dropout. When you say dropout, obviously it is related to education. How say education ta continue karna, that's the thing. But here drop out of something means look there is space, here there is no space. Drop out, drop out, drop out, drop out. You can easily say that without any any gap. Drop out. But here drop out, that's the difference. Drop out. I'm a high school dropout. Over. But in that case, I have dropped out. Look, there should be little space. Exactly same way. You can also, speak in English also like this. So you can say drop out of something. So this is a phrasal verb. That means of something. I have dropped out of contesting the election. I have dropped out of college. My friend has dropped out of school. I have dropped out the planning of going forward for a picnic. Like that, a lot of things you can happen. Here, some things can be anything. Let me tell you, it can be education, it can be any plant joining, it can be any kind of marriage, it can be a social function, anything and everything. It can be possible. Contesting the election, but whenever you say dropout, it's only related to education. So that's the difference. Now this is clear to everybody. If it's clear, then put a thumbs up mark. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Great. Others?
Sir,
Yes.
sir.
Ask me.
Dropout means, sir, dropout means just started the education after
But
leave
he started the education but did not complete it. That's what I'm going to tell.
completed.
That means he started drop out of something. Original.
And planning.
Right.
Planning, but not started.
No. You started. Sometimes you started. କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ କାମଟା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ପ୍ଲାନିଂ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବା କାମଟା କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବଟ୍ ଓଭରି ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଧରନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆଜି ଇଲେକ୍ସନ ଡେଟ୍ ଅଛି କାଲି ଇଲେକ୍ସନ ଡେଟ୍ ଅଛି ଆପଣ କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଜିଠୁ ମାନେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥୀପତ୍ର ପ୍ରତ୍ୟାହାର କରିଦଉଛନ୍ତି so that is I have dropped out. Yes, I have dropped out of college. What do you mean by that? ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ନାଉନ୍ ହିସାବରେ ବ୍ୟବହାର ହେଲା ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ ଫ୍ରେଜାଲ ଭର୍ବ ଏଇଟା ଭର୍ବ ହିସାବରେ ବ୍ୟବହାର ହେଉଛି I am a college dropout. Ritesh Agrawal is a college dropout. Dropout, it's a dropout, it's a noun. Ritesh Agrawal is a man. What is man? Noun. Ritesh Agrawal is a boy. What is boy? Noun. Ritesh Agrawal is a college dropout. Dropout is a noun. So it is used as a noun. But here, whenever you drop out money, like on drop out money, something he was continuing the education, you are trying to not continue. ତାମାନେ ସେ ଗୋଟେ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଜୁକେସନ ଓନ୍ଲି ଫର ଏଜୁକେସନ ସେ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବଟ୍ ଅଧାରୁ ଅଟକି ଗଲେ ସେଟା ହେଲା ଡ୍ରପ ଆଉଟ ବଟ୍ ଇଏଟା ହେଲା କଣ ନା ଆପଣ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବା କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି କରୁଛନ୍ତି ମଧ୍ୟ ପ୍ଲାନିଂ ନାହିଁ ଆପଣ ବି କରୁଛନ୍ତି ହେଇପାରିବ ବିକଜ ଆଇ ହାଭ ଡ୍ରପ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ ଅଫ କଲେଜ ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ ପ୍ଲସ 2 ରେ ରହିଗଲି ପ୍ଲସ 2 ମୁଁ ପଢୁଥିଲି ରହିଗଲି ଆଇ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ସେ ଆଇ ଡ୍ରପ୍ ଆଉଟ୍ ଅଫ କଲେଜ ଇନ୍ ପ୍ଲସ 2 ଆଇ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ସେ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ I dropped out of, suppose mate kali picnic jibar thila, but mu drop out kar de. That is possible. So whether it is a planning or it is a process, in both way you can use it. Now it's clear?
Sir, clear, sir.
Okay. I request everybody, if you are just, making it clear, to put it in a mute mode most of the time. Okay. So now this is clear to everybody means I'm going to the second one. Okay. So something called second one. So these kind of words are very interesting. Okay. These days, I want to tell you something called moonlighting. Have you heard what moonlighting? Wipro has fired 300 employees due to moonlighting. What is moonlighting? So today I'm going to tell you something called moonlit versus moonlight. Moonlit, moonlight, right? Very quite interesting. Look, it looks, you might have think like this. Moonlit, what is moonlit and what is moonlight? You feel that the light from the moon, but moon doesn't have a light, right? So let me find it out. What's exactly different here? Moonlit means it is used as adjective. You can say it is a moonlit light. It is used as an adjective. I can say it is a moonlit light today. It is a moonlit light today. What is moonlit? Moonlit is that sometimes the entire light, the entire night is illuminated by the moonlight. Moonlight ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆସେ ମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ରାତିରେ ଆମର ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଆସନ୍ତି ତ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ କଣ ହୁଏ ସବୁଆଡେ ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତି ମାନେ ପରିଷ୍କାର ହେଇଯାଏ ମାନେ ଲାଇଟ୍ ହେଇଯାଏ so that is called moonlit light, moonlit night. Here moonlit means it is the light that the entire night has been illuminated. ଯେମିତି ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ if I'll just put it ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ light ଅଛି if I just make it dark there will be no light. So because of this rays of the light the entire things has been eliminated. Right? Exactly same way. Because of the moon, whenever the moon comes at night, obviously it is an indirect light, it's coming from sun, from science. And that light is called moonlit. Whenever it is called, it's a moonlit night. You can say, এটা ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଟା ଓଡିଆରେ କହନ୍ତି କଣ କହିଲେ ମାନେ ଏଟା ଚନ୍ଦ୍ରାଲୋକ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ ଓଡିଆରେ କହୁଛେ ସୋ ମୁନଲିଟ ନାଇଟ ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟା ଆମେ କହୁଛେ ଯେ ମାନେ ଯୋଉଟା ମାନେ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ରଙ୍କ ଦ୍ୱାରା ଯେତେବେଳେ ରାତିଟା ପୁରା ପରିଷ୍କାର ଦେଖାଯାଏ ପୁରା ମାନେ ଦିନ ଭଳିଆ ଲାଗେ ତ ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି ମୁନଲିଟ ନାଇଟ ଇଟ୍ସ ଏ ମୁନଲିଟ ନାଇଟ ଟୁଡେ ୱାଓ ଦ moon is there in the sky you can say it is a moonlit night right but here let me tell you moonlight is also moonlight but moonlight is used in a different way these days. This is I'm going to give you exactly how you have been using your day-to-day life. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଏଠି literature ପଢୁନି let me tell you how you can use it. Suppose ଆପଣ ଦେଖିଲେ ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ଆଜି ରାତିରେ ଗୋଟେ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ଆଉ ଟିକେ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି you can say it is a moonlit night moonlit night ମାନେ ଯୋଉ ନାଇଟ୍ ଟା ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଦ୍ୱାରା ପୁରା ମାନେ ସଫା ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ବା ଉଜ୍ଜଳ ଦେଖା but here moonlighting is something different. Moonlighting money, you are doing one job, right? Suppose Rajesh sir is working in a software firm in Infosys. Job, timing, everybody is working from 10 to, let it be 4. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. upon quote time there. Upon kamo kuchhati, right? After 4 p.m. pare, upon this is for Wipro. ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ XYZ ସଫ୍ଟୱେୟାର ଫାର୍ମ ଅଛି ଆପଣ କଣ କଲେ ନା ତା ପାଇଁ କାମ କଲେ 5 ରୁ 8 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ କାମ so you have double employment one is for Wipro one is called XYZ so that is called moonlighting so moonlighting is something you have a double or a triple employment suppose ଆପଣ ଏଟା 8 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ କାମ କଲେ ଆଉ 9 ରୁ ପୁଣି 12 ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଜଣ ପାଇଁ କାମ so that is called moonlighting. So moonlighting is called something called multiple employment. Whenever you have more than one employment, so that is called moonlighting. So that's why because of this moonlighting, recently Wipro, one of the biggest software firm in India, has fired 300 employees. So what do you mean by moonlighting?
Sir?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Please repeat again.
Moonlighting is something that whenever you have more than one job, suppose let me give an example here. Suppose 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. you are working for Wipro. You are working from home right now. Suppose 5 to 6 you are working for XYZ. Then you are working for any other job. So that means you have more than one employment at a time. So that is called moonlight. Moonlight is something called more than one employment at the same time. You are working for 3 different companies, 4 different companies, 2 different companies, then that is called moonlight. That's why Wipro just has fired 300 employees from its company because of moonlighting. Moonlighting means, working for more than one company at the same time. Now it's clear. Are you getting my point, everybody? This is a very new place.
Sir, the moon.
Yeah.
Spelling the moonlight for spelling. Sir.
Oh, sorry, might like Mukherjee. I'm sorry, sir. Okay. Oh, moonlight. Sorry. Nobody. It could have been tell me, sir. Look, this is called moonlight. This is a moonlight. Now it's clear, right now. Now it's clear.
Yes.
It is something called moonlight. Moonlight means you have 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. one job. 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. another job, and suppose another job is something called moonlighting. Hey, I can give you example. Wipro has fired 300 employees due to moonlighting. So what is moonlighting? Moonlighting whenever you are having more than two jobs at the same time. Suppose you're working and you are working shift wise, and that's why they call it. It is something called it is called breach of data, because suppose you are working for Wipro, again you are working for Infosys, and they are competitors. Okay, so basically moonlighting is a concept whenever you're working for a company and XYZ also is a competitor, because Wipro is a software firm, XYZ is a software firm. So they are vying for the same, they are vying for the same project. They have applied and you are working for both the companies at the same time as per your shift timing. So it is called moonlighting. Moonlighting is something called having one job. It is something called having a job at the same time. Whenever you say one job or two job or three job, more than one job is called moonlight. Moonlit is something called, it is a light from the sun. From the moon. That you can say, oh, it's a moonlit night. But you can say due to moonlighting, lot of people are getting benefited, and moonlighting is going to be a procedure in the coming days also. Like ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଯେ କୌଣସି ଜବ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, if you are taking, it is a traditional field ରେ ଆମେ ଆଗରୁ କଣ କରୁଥିଲେ, we are taking one job at a time, right? But this is what happens, people are working from home and they become freelancer. So that sometimes they work for a company, and in the meantime also they go for another company as time permits them. ଆପଣ 6 ରୁ 8ଟା ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଗୋଟେ କାମ କଲେ, 8 ରୁ 10ଟା ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ କାମ କଲେ, if you are doing like that, that is called moonlighting. Now it's clear to everybody? Now it's clear? Or any doubt? It's clear or any problem? Ask me. Okay, others? Great. So whenever you say that moonlit and moonlight, there are two different things are there. Okay, you can say it is a moonlit night, and you can say moonlighting is dangerous trade. That just I have gone through Ritesh Premji, like the Wipro chairman, was telling, like moonlighting is just like equivalent to cheating. People are working for us, then they are trying to get a lot of data from us. There is a chance you can sell our sensitive data to others also. So that's why moonlighting should be banned. So you might be thinking, what is moonlighting? Moonlight, it is something called the light from the moon. Yeah, it has one meaning. It has one meaning, light from the moon. But whenever say moonlighting is not light from the moon. It is something called employment, more than one employment at the same time. More than one employment. Suppose you're working for me and you're working for my competitor. That means you are doing moonlighting. You are, it is something, a trend that has been found in India right now. And most software firms, like, because, most people are interested to go for it. There is a clause, moonlighting clause, where you are supposed to write, during this entire phase, I am not supposed to take any other employment. So that is something called against, you have to write a clause against moonlighting. And if you're going to, you should know what is moonlighting. It's not the light from the moon. It is something called that is called moonlit. This is called moonlight. Check it out. Moonlit means that light from the moon, and due to its the area is being illuminated. So that is something called moonlit. It's a moonlit night. Wow. The night looks very very extraordinary, very beautiful because of the moonlit, you can say. But whenever it's a moonlight, it has a meaning also, moonlight, but we don't teach moonlight. We use it in a different way, having more than one employment at the same time. Whenever you are 2 employment, 3 employments, 4 employments, you can say moonlight. He's doing moonlighting. How much why you are busy? I'm doing moonlighting. Then upon moonlighting କରୁଛି ମାନେ କ'ଣ? ମାନେ same time ଧରନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ଖାଲି ଏଟା କ'ଣ software firm ପାଇଁ? No, it's not only software firm. Suppose you are a private employee. You are working from 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. for a bank. So ଆପଣ 7 ରୁ 8 ରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ company ପାଇଁ କାମ କରିବେ. Then you can say I'm moonlighting. That's a very good word. You can say. Because I'm busy these days, because I'm moonlighting. What do you mean by moonlighting? Means I'm doing more than one job. So in place of telling that where I'm working, just tell one word, I'm moonlighting. That means You're working for 2 companies at the same time or 3 companies at the same time. So this is something called moonlighting. Okay. So this is clear to everybody. Right now, let me give you the third example. Something called hard versus hardly. Look, they looks very similar, but actually they are not similar. Okay, they looks very similar, but actually they are not similar. You know why they are not similar? Hard is something called the opposite of soft. It is some called opposite of soft. Okay, suppose you are rasgulla. You are having a rasgulla. You can say, oh, it's really soft. But you are you are taking a piece of coconut. Then it's oh, it's hard, right? So hard and soft, But whenever I say hardly, it means I've already informed you. We have learned something called adverb of frequency, right? You might have remembered this comes of adverb of frequency. That means this comes under 5%. Suppose you say that I hardly take meat. Let me give you an example. You can say the you can say something is very hard. Something is very hard. Whenever you say something is very hard, obviously it is not soft. That are common, right? But whenever you say that hardly, that means the frequency of doing something is only 5%. Whenever you do for the 5% the entire thing, suppose you say, I hardly take meat. That means, suppose you take a month of 30 days. Upon 30 days time niyantu. Say upon month hardly eat meat, 5%. After 5%, maybe 1 or 2 days you take meat. Then you say, I hardly take meat. If you take every day, you say that I always take meat. If you take 50%, that is called occasionally. I have given you a chart. That is something called adverb of frequency. Those who have not gone, there is a video for that also. Adverb of frequency. You can go through that. But look at the sentence structure. Hard, hardly. It looks very similar to it. Hard, hardly. Okay. No, they are not same. They are really confusing. Hard means that is the opposite of soft. Whenever something is not soft, you can say it's hard. Look, I can say, look, this is very hard, right? Because I cannot push it up like this. It's very hard. Okay. But if if I'll take this is soft. This is soft. I can say this is soft. I can say this is soft. Okay. So basically, you can say like the pillow is soft for you, right? Whenever you are trying to, lie a baby, then you are looking for a soft bed because it may hurt your baby. So that is called soft. Okay. And hard is something called whenever you are not able to, suppose you are trying to crack a chocolate. You said, oh, it's hard. That means you are not able to crack it. Suppose take, some rasgulla or any kind of sweets. That's very, it's really very, soft to you. Then you can say it's not hard. You can say, wow, it's very soft. Even those who are non-vegetarian, like, they'll take meat after it is boiled. You can say, oh, yes, it's soft. No, it's a little bit hard. Make it boiled once more. Like that we are telling. So this is something called hard and soft, But hard is something that the adverb of frequency, that means you are doing it for 5%. 5% of the entire time. Suppose you say, I hardly take meat. That means your frequency of taking meat only 5%. Whenever I say 5%, you can say I hardly take meat, means only 5% I am taking that. Suppose take a 30 days time, you are taking for 1 or 2 days, you can say I hardly take meat. I hardly watch television. I hardly take almost nil. Almost. Suppose if I take as 30 days time, I hardly 1 or 2 days, I just watch television. You can say I hardly go there. Means I don't go there. Almost. It's not nil. Hardly is not equal to 0. Hardly means only 5%. Whenever you do something hardly, I hardly go there. means almost I don't go there. Maybe 1 or 2 days. If you'll ask me, sir, do you take non-veg? Sir, I hardly take it. I mean, kochit. Odia kata means kochit. I mean, what could kochit word व्यवहार करते rarely, scarcely, like तार word होची ओडिया टा कोचित. हाँ मैं कोचित करे. मैं कोचित माने कौन very rarely you do that. So that is you can say hard. I hardly go there. I hardly mingle with my friends. I hardly go to the park. That means if you take 6 months time, perhaps 1 or 2 days you have gone there. You can say I hardly go. Okay. Suppose I'll ask you, do you go to playground every day? I hardly go there. That means in a 6 month of time, perhaps you have visited 1 or 2 days. That is called hardly. So this is something called 5% of the entire work you have done. That means it's not equal to 0, but 5% you are doing. That's very rarely you do that. Suppose if I'll ask you, like, do you really, watch that Big Boss? I hardly see. What do you mean by that? I never see it means but 0. Upon the I never see. That means I never see. That means why I'm keeping that. But I don't see, I never see, and whenever I hardly see, means occasionally, very rare. In a suppose a Big Boss has started 5 years before and it's continuing every season. Suppose you say maybe one occasion I have seen it, then you say hardly only 5% of the entire work. Suppose ଯଦି 100 ଦିନ ସେଟା 100ଟା ଏପିସୋଡ ହେଇଛି ଯଦି ଆପଣ 5ଟା ଏପିସୋଡ ଦେଖିଛନ୍ତି then you can say 5% I hardly like that. Take a 100 days work and you are doing something for 5 days only. That you can say hardly. So hard and hardly are entirely different. Whenever you say hardly, it is something called that you are not doing it every day. Very rarely do that. But hard means it's not hardly. That's the difference. Hard. Hard means sometimes, it's very hard. Oh my God. You are eating something, you are not, sugar cane. You are trying to chew with the sugar cane, right? So you are doing like that. Oh my God, I can't crack it. It's very hard to do like that. You have a small baby. He's trying to crack a knot. Any kind of guava or something like that. Oh mama, I cannot do that. I cannot crack it. It's very hard. So hard you know very well. Okay. But hardly is not hard. You can say hardly means hard set. No. Hard and hardly is entirely different. This is going this way and this is going no relation. No relation. Hardly means you are doing something for 5%. That means take a days of 100 days of entire work and that particular activity or that particular work you are doing for 5 days. Then you can say hard. Right? Now this is clear to everybody? Is clear or any doubt?
Sir, clear.
Okay. So this is clear means let me give you another example. The third example I want to give you. Something called, this is something called what I can say, made of and made from. Made of, made from. You are using it, but unknowingly. Something called made of and made from. Made of, what is made of and what is made from? Okay. So basically what happens, it is used in a lot of ways. So before that, let me give you some examples so you can easily understand it. Okay. Let me give you some examples where you can easily understand it. Suppose I can say, God is made from milk. God is made from milk. First example. The ring is made of gold. Check it out. Whenever I say that something called, check it out. That's very interesting. I say something, God is made from milk. Look, milk is a substance. I say milk is a substance. God is also substance or some different things you can say. Okay. The moment here, milk The character of milk is entirely different. The character of milk is entirely different. Here, the cord character is entirely different. Milk the character, cord is a character. No. So when it is made from, the entire character changes. Whenever the entire character changes, then you can say made from. But the ring is made from gold. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯୋଉଟା ତିଆରି ହେଇଥିବ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ସୁନା ମୁଦି ଲଗେଇଛନ୍ତି. What you can say? ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ସୁନା ମୁଦି ଲଗେଇଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ ଏଟା ଯଦି ସୁନାରେ ତିଆରି ହେଇଥିବ ଆପଣ ରୂପା ମୁଦି କହିବେ ତା ମାନେ ସୁନାର ଯୋଉ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର whatever the character of here exactly same character but here the shape is changed. The shape change ହେଇଯିବ but the character remains the same. Here the character, the shape, everything changes. Let me give another example. Suppose you can say, suppose ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଘରେ ଗୋଟେ table ଟେ ଅଛି. There is a table and you can say table is made of what? Wood. କାଠର ଯୋଉ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର ଟେବୁଲ ସେ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର ବଟ୍ କାଠର ଯୋଉ ଆକୃତି ତାର ସେ ଆକୃତି ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇଯାଇଛି ବଟ୍ ଦ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର ସେ ଯେମିତି ଆପଣ ଯଦି କାଠଟାକୁ ଯଦି ପକେଇଦେବେ ବନ୍ ଫାୟାରରେ ବା ନିଆଁରେ ପକେଇଦେବେ ସେ ଜଳିବ ଟେବୁଲଟା ମଧ୍ୟ ଜଳିବ ବଟ୍ ହ୍ୱାଟ ଏକ୍ଜାକ୍ଟଲି ସେମ୍ ଥିଙ୍ଗସ୍ ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବେ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ସିକେଲ ଯୋଉଟା ଦା ଆମେ ମାନେ ଚାଷୀ ଧାନ କାଟୁଛି ସେଟା କୋଉଥିରେ ତିଆରି ହଉଛି ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଜ ଆଇରନ୍ ସୋ ଆଇରନ୍ ଯୋଉ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର ସିକେଲର ସେ କ୍ୟାରେକ୍ଟର but the shape different. So whenever there is a change of shape, but character remains the same, you can say made of. But whenever the character differs, that is called made from. Anything differs. Suppose look, this is used from plastic. So I can say plastic re jo character, armor say character. I can say made of. Character remains the same. When the character remains the same, this is something called made up. Character differs. Then this is called character differs. This is called made from. Okay. When the character differs, that is called made from. When the character remains the same, then this is something called made up. Now this is clear or any doubt? Everybody?
Sir, clear, clear, sir.